Hi, I'm Seanna Thomas, registered holistic nutritional consultant and founder of Hockey Snacks. And I've teamed up with Canland Sports to help you and your kids get on their marks and get set for summer camp. Now, I know how stressful it can be for you to figure out what to pack for a long day of energy burning. So I'm going to show you today exactly how to keep your child fueled and energized for the long days of fun. Now, there are a lot of different things that you can pack in their lunches, but first, I want to start with the first meal of the day, and that's breakfast. Breakfast is really important for these kids, especially if they're going to be at camp all day long. We want to make sure they're having something that contains protein and fiber, and that's going to keep them full until lunch. Now, they're going to be distracted because they're having so much fun, but we still don't want their tummies growling. So we want to make sure they're having something with whole grains and something that doesn't have a ton of sugar in it. If our kids are starting their day off with too much sugar, it can actually spike their blood sugar levels and cause a sugar crash. And that's the last thing we want to happen during camp. So let's make sure they have something nourishing, full of fiber, and really good for them to start their day. Something like eggs or oatmeal are really good choices. Now, what to pack for lunch? So the first thing I would say is don't stress about it. You can pack the same thing every single day. And as long as your kids like it and are eating it, you're on the right track. So first, let's start with some snacks. So I always encourage parents to pack some fresh fruit and some vegetables for their kids. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be a banana and an apple, or it can even just be carrots and celery. But definitely choose some fruit and vegetables you know your kids like, cut them up if you need to, and make sure they're there every day. When we normalize fruits and vegetables every day, our kids are going to be more likely to eat it. Now, if they really don't like eating the whole fruit, you can go for some unsweetened varieties of applesauce or some cut up fruit. Just make sure that it doesn't have any extra sugar or fat added to it, because that, again, might turn into a sugar crash later on. So, what do we pack for their main meal? Well, let's keep it simple yet again. Sandwiches or wraps are a great thing to choose. So here I have a whole wheat wrap filled with a lunch meat, some cheese, some vegetables, and then some crunchy lettuce. And this is something really quick and easy. The best part about it is my kids can make this stuff themselves, and so can yours. Make sure you're giving your kids ownership over their nutrition. Involve them in the process. And that way, they can't say they're upset about what's going in their lunch if they're the ones putting it in. So we have here a beautiful vegetable wrap, and this is something that's colorful and delicious, and I know my kids are going to eat. Like I said, we don't want to reinvent the wheel here. We definitely want to keep things simple. So we have fresh fruit, we have vegetables, we have our wrap or sandwich for our main component, or if your child's a grazer, think about just putting in some crackers, some pieces of meat, or maybe some dips and some vegetables. Whatever your kids are into, then pack that. We really don't need to go over and above when we're talking about our kids' lunches. We just want to make sure they have the energy to sustain through the day. So that means including natural sugars from carbohydrates like fresh fruit and vegetables, and these are going to give them that quickly accessible energy that's going to help them, on the ice or when they're running around. Their body's going to be able to digest this really fast and then give them the energy they need. When we're talking about our sandwiches and our wraps, this is the protein, and protein is so important for muscle repair, recovery, and growth, but also to help sustain that energy and make it last a lot longer. That goes for fiber and healthy fats as well. It's not the best energy source because it can be a little harder for the body to access that, but it doesn't mean it's any less important. We still want to make sure they're getting protein throughout their day to help sustain that energy. And last, we definitely want to have some kind of treat in there, something they can look forward to. So here I have some allergy-friendly energy bites made with a nut butter alternative, or a homemade muffin, a banana muffin, something nice and healthy, but also full of fiber and full of those carbohydrates that's going to give them that energy throughout the day. Now, when we're talking about drinks, we always want to go with water. And if they already have a water bottle for their sport, they're probably good to go. But stay away from the high sugary items and the caffeinated items. Our kids really only need water. So make sure they have their reusable water bottle with them and that they're constantly filling it up. And if your kids aren't really big on sandwiches or eating a lot throughout the day, you can think about making them a smoothie. Just make sure that you're also packing an ice pack to keep everything nice and cold for them so it's ready for them to eat. There are some foods that we should probably avoid when we're talking about fueling for performance and sustained energy for our athletes. We want to make sure that they're not having anything too high in sugar throughout the day, because it can cause those blood sugar highs and then those sugar crashes later on. And we want to sustain that energy throughout the day. So making sure that their blood sugar levels are stable is really important. And foods like this is going to keep it that way. The other thing we want to avoid is anything too high in fat. And the reason for that is it can sit like a brick in your belly, and then your body doesn't know whether to focus on digestion or performance, because our kids maybe don't have that much time to digest between eating lunch and getting back to their activity. So we want to make sure they're eating foods that they can digest really quickly and easily. So there you have it. These are my best options for lunch. We want to keep it simple. We want to include fruits, vegetables, fiber, whole grains, a little treat. We want to hydrate with water and make sure our kids are happy and fueling themselves for performance. And of course, it doesn't end when they get home. We want to make sure that they're fueled for their next day at camp. So make sure dinner is something that they enjoy, that they look forward to, that's full of fiber and protein and everything that they need to really nourish their bodies, give them that energy back, nourish the muscles, help them repair, and then they can have a really, really great sleep and prepare for camp the next day. So now you know exactly what to pack for your kids' lunch, what to fuel them in the morning, how to fuel them at night for their next day at camp. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out. But now's the time to register, so go to canlandsports.com and register your player for summer camp. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. I'm Seanna Thomas.